Um, Let us know where you're from. Where are you watching from? What are you hoping to learn from this? What brought you on to our event this evening? I'm going to go ahead and mute Amanda and Tanya, and then y'all just unmute yourselves when it's your turn. But yeah, you guys, I'm so excited. First of all, thank you. I know this is a holiday weekend for most people. So if you guys, we're just so grateful for you guys hopping on tonight, and welcome to our event. So we hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and a great start to your week. And we know your time is very, very precious, so we're not going to keep you long tonight. We just so appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to join us and to learn about our company and our products. I'll start by first introducing myself. I'm your host for this evening, and my name is Sarah Taylor. I live in Houston, Texas, with my 2 children, my husband, and our 3 rescue dogs. I have been with Plexus for about 6 years now, and so I fell in love with these products as a customer and just decided to run with it from there. So definitely started as a customer. I know a lot of you guys are starting down that path as well, and I decided to sign up as an ambassador just for the discount. Had no clue what I was saying yes to at the time, but more on that story later. I will share my story at the end of this. And I'm joined this evening by these 2 beautiful women, my 2 friends, Tanya Lewis and Amanda Grubb, and they're going to be sharing their personal stories with these products with you guys tonight as well. So please help them feel very warm and welcome. I know it's not easy to get on here and share some pretty vulnerable personal details and personal stories. So that's super, super nerve-wracking. So thank you, ladies, for being on here. I just wanted to start out by giving you guys just a brief overview of who we are as a company. I think it's important for you guys to know kind of who we are and what we stand for as a company. Our company has been around for about 11 years, and we actually started out as a breast health company. We're headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona, and our first product, which was actually a breast check kit. Very, very quickly, our amazing CEO and our president both decided that we needed to expand that product line. They had a vision of being a holistic health company focused on natural ways to get healthy, to lose weight, to restore balance, and to venture into the world of preventative health care via natural means. So I actually love our mission statement. Our mission statement surrounds health and happiness. So over the last 11 years, we've been most known for our work in the gut health field, restoring your gut microbiome and creating some really huge waves in research and supplementation surrounding our body's microbiome. But along with that, we predominantly focus on 6 key areas. The first one is gut health, of course. Number 2 is blood sugar regulation. Number 3, inflammation reduction. Number 4, nutritional deficiency. 5 is a combined category, healthy weight management and exercise performance. And 6 is prebiotic skincare, which is our newest line. We really pride ourselves in having the highest quality and most bioavailable ingredients in our products. We actually have our own in-house development lab and our own quality assurance department as well. We also partner with external quality testing, which is super important. We have our internal quality testing and our external quality testing as well, and to just ensure that every single batch, every single product that you guys get to your doorstep is exactly what we say they are. So we're always looking for new ways to expand our product line in a very synergistic way while keeping our line very focused, small, and powerful. We don't want to just toss a whole bunch of products out there. We want them all to work together for a purpose, and we want them all to have that well-known Plexus quality behind it. So being natural, excuse me, being natural, being bioavailable, those are very, very important things, and having high quality ingredients. Most recently, I'm really excited about this, we have announced that we're entering into the CBD market and the CBD arena. We have begun our 10-year worldwide expansion plan as well, with expansions already into Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Mexico, with the EU being scheduled to be next, which is super exciting because my husband's from England. So for me, that's a really, really exciting thing. But our company culture from the top down is highly, highly, highly focused on integrity, with our owners having grown up in the network marketing industry as distributors themselves. So they really understand this business. They understand it from a distributor standpoint as well as a corporate standpoint, and they've set out to do network marketing the way it should be done and could be done, but rarely ever is. We are debt-free, we're privately owned, and we have been well revered in the industry as one of the fastest growing companies. Kind of the ones to watch and the ones leading the charge in revolutionizing the social marketing world. So most recently, I love this, we were recently dubbed the Titan of the healthcare industry, a Titan of the healthcare industry, which just gives me chills. We worked really hard on our reputation within that category. So basically, what we've done is we've married a very powerful product line with brilliant corporate leadership full of integrity and a powerful and fair compensation plan. So tonight, you're going to hear all about how these products have been at work within my friends' lives. And I think it's safe to say that each one of us arrived at the decision to try these products very full of skepticism, full of preconceived notions, but now we're forever grateful for what God placed in our paths. So I'm going to kick it off and hand it over to my friend Amanda, and she's going to tell us all about her battle with an autoimmune disease that completely controlled her childhood. So take it away, Amanda.
Hi guys, Amanda Grubb. I'm from Austin, Texas, and mom of two, married, and been with Plexus now for 5 years. So my story actually starts when I was in 5th grade, so 10 years old. So I had a good 10 solid years of like good times. But 10 years old in 5th grade, I started having these stomach pains. And I'd be, hovered over the toilet. My parents would either run me to the hospital thinking it was either an appendicitis or an ulcer, because I'm a worrier by heart. And they were always like, you're just worrying too much. You gave yourself an ulcer. Continued, all through everything, all through middle school, all through high school. I remember racing to the bathroom in middle school to go be sick in middle school, which is not, rumors can fly of why you're getting sick in the middle of the day. And it was just normal to me. And one of the things that people always find funny, kind of humorous about my story, my mother was, she retired from the airlines. And so honestly, it was cheaper for us to go to Europe for the weekend than it was to go to someone's lake house. So, because back then it was just all free. So we would go to Europe, we'd go to Hong Kong, we'd go to wherever we wanted to go. And my parents and my sister and I would go to these amazing restaurants. One is that brings to mind, this story always brings to mind, Alfredo's. It's the creator of fettuccine Alfredo. And we all sat down, they all order all this food, and the waiter says, and what can I get for your youngest? And my mom would say, oh, she'll just have a plate. And he would always look at her like, what? Why did you just order your daughter a plate? And I was like, yeah, I'll just have a plate. And she said, yeah, she'll just pick off whatever we have. And the truth was, it was cheaper to not order me a meal. And instead, I would just pick off my family's meals of what I thought I could digest and what I thought I could eat. And I'm telling you, like, it continued forever, even into high school, running. And I'm bringing this up because I think I have a high school friend watching tonight. Running, we would have to run that mile. I could never run the mile because I'd always get a stomach cramp and have to run to the bathroom. So I would try it all the time. You can't do anything when you can't digest food. I honestly lived on what is called the Brat Diet, which if you've ever had a surgery or ever had any sort of stomach issues, the Brat Diet is bananas, rice, applesauce, toast. That's what you live on. And those are the 4 easiest things for your body to digest. So I lived on that. It continued through college. I was put on an anti-heart murmur medication because the side effect was a balanced stomach. So anything I could do to do this. I've had many surgeries. I've had endoscopies, colonoscopies. I call it getting skewered because that's pretty much what you're doing is getting skewered every time to see there's damage in my intestines, damage on my esophagus, all these things. Well, after I got married, it was discovered that I have celiac disease. And celiac disease is when your body does not, it doesn't process gluten. And so we thought, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what's been causing all these problems. So I went gluten-free, and it sucked. It does. And I saw a change for a couple months that I thought, okay, like we're a little balanced. I'm feeling a little bit better. I noticed that I could digest things a little bit better. But that happened for a couple months, and then it stopped. And I was like, well, now I can't digest stuff, and I can't eat bread. This sucks. So ironically, I did not start Plexus for gut health. I started for mom energy because I had just had my daughter and I was so exhausted, and that was more important than being able to digest food. But 3 months into my journey, I knew I was allowed 60 days to try the products, and everybody was talking about gut health. And I was like, you know, I've tried probiotics before. I've tried prescription probiotics. I've tried the ones you put in the fridge. I've tried the ones that are over the counter. Nothing ever works. They all work for like a little bit, and then it goes back to the way it was. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna try it. So 2 weeks in, I noticed something I had never noticed before. My stomach was flat. And it had always been, my mother always called me an egg on toothpicks. So I always had this big belly all the time. Like I never got rid of my toddler belly. But my stomach was flat. And then it did take about 7 weeks to notice a difference. And it was after dinner one night. I was sitting down with my husband and the beautiful baby. And he goes, "Why aren't you sick?" And I said, "What do you mean, why am I not sick?" And he goes, "Why aren't you sick? You're always sick after we eat. Like you go lay down and I take Rue," that's our daughter, "Rue for a while because you're always sick." And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not sick. I'm not sick. And I felt normal. And that's the whole thing. I always tell people about Plexus products. They're not going to make you feel jittery energetic. They're not going to make you feel like a different person. They're going to make you feel what you thought normal was. And then we all went through life and we're like, why do I not feel the way I thought I was going to feel? It makes you feel what normal is. It's incredible. And I'll tell you this too. So and that's lasted now for 5 years. 5 years still, I feel amazing. And I'm even allowed to eat some gluten because my body digests food so well. And when I got my last endoscopy, colonoscopy, the doctor said, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up because there are no new scars in your intestines and in your esophagus, and the old ones have healed. You have no damage. What did you do?" And I told him. And so the reason I shared Plexus and decided finally to share, I was not one to like jump on board right away. I decided to share Plexus because I noticed that all these people on social media I was seeing, and their lives looked so perfect. And it was all sunshine and roses, and they just looked so amazing. And here I wasn't eating. I was, big bloated stomach, couldn't digest any food. I was exhausted, all these things. And then I looked back at my social media page, and it was all sunshine and roses, and it all looked perfectly normal and perfectly fine. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. I always used to joke that God took a day off when he created my digestive system. But now, since I've shared my story, I'm not the only one. There are people just like me that go through this stuff all the time. And I'm telling you, finding relief from it is completely life-changing. You can try new foods, you can eat new things. It is life-changing to be able to eat food again. So that's my story.
That's so awesome. And I love the fact that you have started sharing your story too, because I know as your friend at first, that was a really difficult thing, but you have helped so many people through just the power of your words and sharing your experience. So thank you. I know it's not exactly fun to talk about bathroom habits in a call with hundreds of people.
It's not glamorous, but it is fun.
So now I'm going to turn it over to Tanya, my beautiful friend, at the bottom of our screen, and she's going to talk to us about her I'm not even going to preface it. It's a laundry list of issues. So take it away, Tanya.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everybody. I will start by saying that I have a goal this year to, if I live past December 2nd, I live past 97% of the women on my mother's side of the family. So getting to that point is like the whole reason I'm here with Plexus, with every bit of it. For half my 20s and all of my 30s, I was sick. I had a hysterectomy very young, and that just spiraled into so many different things, and it made me miserable. It made me miss out on almost all of the children's young lives, their high school lives. I did one thing with each one, and that was kind of it for the whole thing. I had, and this is like, I'm just going to list them because my story can take so long, but we're dealing with migraines to the point where I would have 5 to 8 a week. I would spend hours in my closet floor or in the emergency room because that was the only relief. Rheumatoid arthritis that was so severe that by the time they figured it out, I couldn't use my hands. I couldn't hold a cup. That led to nerve damage in my neck, and then I had surgery with that, which took a whole different turn after recovery because my body didn't want to recover. And my autoimmune disease was so bad that my body was reacting to that of an extremely elderly person. That was terribly unhealthy. But I became a shut-in at 33. That was essentially all that I was doing. I stayed in my recliner. I barely did really anything. My family kind of did the same, right? And it's almost embarrassing now at 44 to say that this is what it was like for me 10 years ago, because I didn't have it. I didn't have the will. I had that fear of being out. I had that fear of what was going to happen next or when it was going to happen. But so in 2015, after all those other things, I am on a gaggle, because that's the easiest way to describe it, of medication for the rheumatoid arthritis. I'm doing 2 different types of injections, pain medicine. I'm on prescription opioids and nerve blockers and all of these things for the neck because it didn't heal. At this point, I'm on 21 different medications. Okay, I'm not even going to go through the whole list for migraines, for all of it, and my gallbladder diseases. And it had to come out. We went through all of the testing. It finally came out. But fortunately, and this is, people say to me all the time when I say fortunately, and I say fortunately because this is how, when God decides, when you finally get to that point that you listen, right, that you stop and you let him put people in your life, because I just assumed that I was going to be miserable and that I was going to live on my recliner for the rest of my life. But I had the surgeon for my diseased gallbladder who saw a mole on my stomach and said, I'm going to be in there anyway. It's going to come off. Okay, we're going to take it off. But it was a stage 2 malignant melanoma that had spread. And we had to go back in. I'm sorry, I talk with my hands too, really bad. We had to go back in, had to take it out, had to do a very large, almost a 9-inch, the size of your iPad. And people don't believe me when I say that. So here's my iPad. This was my stomach, this area. It had grown. We didn't know, but it was internal in multiple spots in my body. And I had a rheumatologist. Now, at this point, I know she's here somewhere. Amy, who we've been friends with for years, had been for like a year and a half messaging. And we just talk. Hey, I can help. Hey, I can help. No, you can't, lady. My doctor says you can't. You need to go away. Because that was who I was. I am that friend. But I had a rheumatologist who said, yeah, Sarah, right? We're all that person at some point. The skepticism of, if my doctor can't fix it, you can't fix it. But with the type of cancer that I have, my rheumatologist said to me, you've got to find a way to come off of all of these medications. You have to find the natural path. I have an older lady who's taking this stuff, and it's made a huge difference, and I think you should try it. And that's how I came to Plexus. It took a few weeks. I immediately, like, I left his office. I called Amy. It took a few weeks, but I started noticing differences. And part of the side effects of all the medicines that I was taking was severe insomnia. And the first thing that I noticed is that I'd gone from sleeping 2 to 3 hours a week to sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night. And the more you sleep, the better you feel. And all of those things just started changing, slowly changing, but changing. And then I started, like, moving more and doing more and getting out and being happy about it, and enjoying things, right? And it just kept going. And then we got to a point where I was sitting in the doctor's office, and I'm 15 months in at this point. But like 15 months when you expect that you're never going to heal or recover is huge. And he says, I think that a lot of these medicines are ready to go. Like, I don't think you need them anymore at all. Let's come off of them, and let's come off of them fast. I started Plexus, and my first order was March 26th of 2016. By September of 2017, I was off of 19 of those medicines. One of those medicines I take continually because I have spots in my eyes that we can't do anything about. The other medicine is there as a just in case. That's it. Now, we have our children are adults. They're always like, Mom, can you slow down? Mom, what are you doing? Like, can we not do this today? I am the energy person in the house. I am the person that's always wanting to do because I'm regaining that life. I'm taking trips like I'm doing. It's just, for me, it's about completely getting my life back, but it's giving, tomorrow is our 25th anniversary. It's giving my husband a wife, my children, family, a mom that can do. And our crazy dogs, that crazy woman that wants to chase them everywhere. So when someone tells me or wants to know why or what it is that I continue to do or why I continue to do it or anything else, it's because I deserve it. I owe it to myself to constantly try it, to constantly give myself the things that I know that work. So for me, my whole Plexus journey has been retaking control and taking that back. We have a trip. We just planned it. We have a trip planned for December 5th because that's an extension now. We're past that date. So that's where we are. That's my journey. Like, Sarah's got all the other stuff to talk to you about, but for me, I am in full remission from migraines, for rheumatoid arthritis, for insomnia. I'm no longer taking any nerve blockers or anything else. I'm just your typical go to your dermatologist every 3 months and see what they have to say. If I can come from where I have been and leave my recliner, I fully believe that everybody should listen and give it a try. Like, that's where we're at. So, Sarah, I'm going to stop talking.
Oh, thank you, Tanya. It's absolutely just incredible, right? I can't see the comments on the Facebook page, but I know everybody here has got, that is huge. The life change from her. She is a real human being. She's a real friend. Amy Welch, who's on this page, knew her long before Plexus, long before Amy ever joined Plexus. And her talking to her over and over again and getting shot down over and over again, because we're all skeptics, right? It's so life-changing. And these products aren't something that are magic pills or anything like that. What I always say is it's like a hard reset, like a hard, you hard reset your computer, your phone, that kind of thing, take it back to factory settings. That's what our products are working to do, because your body is designed to heal. It's designed to work properly. It's designed to work the way that God intended it to. And that is where our products are. That's the space that our products work in. They get to the root and help you reset and rebalance and get it back to how it's supposed to, so that your body can do all the magic work and all the hard lifting. So thank you for sharing, Tanya, because I know somebody out there is probably dealing with exactly what you have been dealing with. And I'm so Like, I'm just so grateful, both of you guys. So I was going to share, I'm going to try and do this really quick because we're coming up on our time and I want to be respectful of that. But I'm going to share my story as well. You guys, if raise your hand, give a little emoji, something below if you have been a skeptic or if you're a recovering skeptic, because I am absolutely that person. I was the biggest skeptical person out there, especially in regard to network marketing and supplements as well. So I was never ever somebody that saw myself in the business of network marketing. In fact, I was probably the biggest skeptic that there was. I watched so many friends do different network marketing companies, and my husband and I are both college educated. We came from a background in the corporate world, working corporate jobs, and to be brutally honest, we thought we were above network marketing. It was completely beneath us. So I was a network marketing snob, absolutely. But to couple that with this, I was also a supplement snob. My mom is watching on here, I'm sure. And I grew up in a home with her. She was she had a nutritionist background. And so growing up with somebody, with that kind of ideal, I had some very strong ideals surrounding health and wellness. Diet pills and quick fixes were not something that I was drawn to at all. And so when I clicked this shop button almost 6 years ago, I had watched and observed for over 7 months as one of my friends shared testimony after testimony. And that decision was not taken lightly on my hands. During and leading up to that time, I was dealing with one of the hardest seasons of life I had ever faced. So I want to rewind a little bit and just kind of tell you guys what had been going on for us. My husband and I were both doing very, very well in our careers. We were both making over 6 figures. He decided to make a career change. He wanted to become a financial advisor. And if any of you guys know anything about that industry, nothing is handed to you. It's brutal. You have to start at the very, very bottom. You're commission only. You go through tons and tons of training and certifications, only start out cold calling. And what I mean by cold calling is literally knocking on doors. Edward Jones, knocking on doors in neighborhoods. And he had to build his book of business that way while making commission only, making pennies, if anything at all. And so we thought that we could handle losing his pay for the foreseeable future, because that's what happens as you get started. What we didn't expect was when I got pregnant with our daughter Emma around that same time, we didn't think I was going to have as many complications as I did. And I ended up having to leave my job as well. So I went on full bed rest at 20 weeks and I just couldn't stay in my job. So we went from 2 6-figure salaries down to 1 full commission salary. We couldn't even cover our bills, but we still had all the same bills that we had before. I don't know if anybody on here has ever been through something similar, but that is the most terrifying curveball. We were brand new parents to be. This was our first child, and we literally had no income. My unemployment checks were more than his income, you guys. It was terrifying. So to say that times were tight, 4 weeks before I had my daughter, premature, my father died very unexpectedly while I was still on bed rest. And then 2 months later, Gavin's nephew died in a car accident, texting and driving. So I was an absolute emotional mess. I suffered through pretty much everything that you might expect postpartum. Very much postpartum depression, lots of anxiety. We got pregnant with another baby during that time as well, and we lost it, only to get pregnant again with my son Carson. And unfortunately, I suffered all the same complications all over again. And I had never fully mentally recovered from everything that I had dealt with after Emma's birth and the 2 deaths and that financial strain. So it was kind of just the worst of all the things, right? And Gavin at that point had built up a solid book of business as a financial advisor. And we'd been chipping away at our credit card debt, but our son ended up in the NICU. He was very, very, very premature. And our medical bills just skyrocketed. we had more debt than we were making in an entire year at that point. So I don't know if anybody has ever felt that level of suffocation, but it is just terrifying. So it was during that time that my friend Jamie started posting about Plexus on Facebook, and I was struggling really hard with being a present mom. I was exhausted. I was irrational. I was suffering hard with those mental issues that I was talking about. I was up all night long because Carson, if you've ever had a NICU baby, they wake them up around the clock because he was struggling to gain weight. So he carried that sleep pattern through his first 18 months of his life. And so I was also dealing with that as well, being a breastfeeding mom. And I was just living by the coffee pot, dealing with chronic yeast infections, weight gain, no control over my emotions. I literally felt like the world was closing in on me, and I was very, very overwhelmed. I had also gained a good amount of weight during that time period, and Gavin, my husband, he started to get really concerned over my mental health, and he started leaving psychologist numbers on my nightstand, and he was like, you need to call these people, you need to get some help, you need to talk to somebody. And I literally tried the products because I wanted to lose a couple pounds. None of the other reasons that I was dealing with, which looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? It was like, Amanda, like, what on earth? I wanted energy and I wanted to lose some weight. And I thought, okay, this might help, right? It had nothing to do with my mental health. So when I clicked shop, it was purely out of desperation because I thought if I could take control of my weight, I'll feel better. If I can have more energy, I can take control of my weight. Maybe I'll sleep better. You know, all those, it's like this thought process that I had, but I had no idea what was in store for me. So my first month as a customer, my life completely changed. It was subtle though. I actually, and I'm putting this out there because I want to be super, super truthful with you guys. I gained weight my first month. Okay. I gained weight my first month, which I would later realize that it was from die-off. It was my body literally fighting to regain the balance. But the reason I stuck with it was my mood and my energy and my sleep were amazing. Every single person in my life was noticing, and I wasn't even telling anybody that I was taking these products, right? So my daughter and I were playing one day, and this was the part where like everything changed. I always try not to cry when I talk about this, but my daughter and I were playing one day. She was little, and she turned to me and she goes, "Mommy, you're so fun now." And that just, like, that broke me. That was the moment that I knew, one, there was light at the end of the tunnel. And then two, it just came crashing down how badly I needed relief and how much the products were working, that even my child was noticing differences in me. And it was like I was a different person. My husband came home one day, I was jumping on the trampoline, and I remember it vividly. He was like, "What are you doing?" And we sat down and talked, and he's like, "What are you doing different?" And I told him, and he's like, "You need to keep taking these products forever." So I signed up just for the discount, and I couldn't help but share with my friends and family who were new moms also. I knew other people needed this in their life, and everybody just saw the change. I was actually doing things. I was being present in my life. I was leaving our house again. And it was just so readily apparent to everybody around me. And that's how I like to say I became an accidental network marketer. The products changed my life, so I shared them just like you share a restaurant, right? So I eventually started sharing my experiences on social media, told them what I was doing, what I was taking. I shared my experience with my friends and shared their experiences. And I got my first check, you guys, and it covered my products, our car payment, and our mortgage. And this was when, for us, $50 was a game changer. Like $50 was life-changing for where we were at financially. And Gavin and I knew that we were onto something with this thing. And it wasn't one of those scams where you sign up and lose money. I didn't have inventory, wasn't hosting parties or anything crazy like that. And not only that, I felt really good about what I was doing because I was helping people. I was helping my friends feel better and have actual profound changes in their life, even in the first month. So the testimonies from the people that I was sharing with started to roll in, huge health testimonies. Not only that, but that weight I gained had started to come and drop off. My health issues I had as a result of a diagnosis of gut dysbiosis. Before gut dysbiosis was a thing, I got that diagnosis at age 17 after a lot of rounds of antibiotics. Those issues were finally clearing up. I had no more chronic yeast infections, no more horribly painful menstrual cycles, no more canker sores. Y'all, at one point I had over 100 canker sores in my mouth all at once. I was not battling sugar cravings anymore, not caffeine dependent, no more daily headaches, no more insomnia, no more sleep anxiety, no more depression, and no more mood swings, and none of that just overwhelming exhaustion. And you guys, I had tried, because of that diagnosis, I had tried every probiotic under the sun, just like Amanda said. And the refrigerated ones, the ones from my doctor, the ones like anything on the shelves I was trying. And the Plexus system is the only thing that has worked. I'm 6 years into this and it's still working. So 6 months in, I went back to my college weight, which was a huge win after 2 kids. So at that point, I'm going to wrap this up quick, I promise. At that point, Gavin, my husband, took the opportunity to his boss at JP Morgan and asked for approval for outside activity. He had become, at this point, a very successful financial advisor, handling top-tier clients with their highest net worth, and any outside business activity had to be approved per the FTC. So he ended up signing up with me and starting to build a team and a business of his own. So after 2 years of doing that, our Plexus income was able to retire him, was able to cover his income 6 times over, and he was able to stay home with our kids and me. So gifting my kids with 2 present parents has been the biggest unexpected blessing of our lives. Our children are young. They're 8, well, not about, she just turned 9. She's not 8 anymore. She just turned 9 and 6. And we both get to take them to school. We both get to have lunch with them. We attend field days. We do all the things. And we never have to take time off to request off for vacation. The time and the financial freedom that this company has afforded us has been a blessing straight from God, y'all. We get to call the shots on our schedule and not somebody else, and that's huge. And not only that, our debt snowball that we are dealing with is a thing of the past. So sometimes God's blessings come in the most surprising ways, and I never thought that I would be doing something like this. But my biggest driver is impact, and impacting the lives of others just fills my cup. And I really do get to do this with this company. So I'll end with this. When you marry an incredible comp plan with life-changing products, you're able to impact others so profoundly in their own lives. And I've helped people with some major debilitating health concerns, as you've heard on this call, and help them overcome them, help executives retire, moms leave their corporate jobs to stay home with their kids, and I've helped those wanting to remain in their careers to have a plan B, a slush fund, and helped so many save from retirement and just be able to simply afford groceries and date nights. So when I said yes to this, when I said yes to Plexus, I said yes to freedom and fulfillment. So I'm so glad that I was able to get over myself and just have an open mind. And I hope that you guys too can give it a solid look and take a chance on yourself, because you are worth it. If you have any more questions, comment them below. We will go through and answer each of them, or get with the person that invited you here and talk to them and help have them give some product recommendations for you for your own personal journey, and we'll help you get started today. So thank you guys for spending your Monday night with us, and we're so appreciative of you. Good night.